This is lesson 33 for course 1, writing percents as fractions part 1. Now this is the book's part 1, not my part 1. So that means that this is the whole lesson, and it means that later on we'll be doing part 2 to this lesson in the book, but this is actually the whole lesson. Okay? So lesson 33, writing percentages and fractions. So when you have a percentage, let's say you have 5%. Okay. Now, 5%, if you remember previously when we talked about making percentages out of fractions, what 5% actually is 5 out of 100. Okay. That's what percentage is. It's whatever the percentage is out of 100. Now, when you think of it in that way, you have a beautiful fraction. 500ths. Now, we don't want to leave it like that. We want to make it into lowest terms. Now, if you remember doing lowest terms from a previous lesson, you know that we need to do greatest common factors, and we need to divide by the greatest common factor. Now, for 5, it's a prime number, okay, 1 and 5. Hundreds, I don't need to list all the factors. I just know, hopefully, from my times tables knowledge that 100 is a multiple of 5. Okay, I know this because all multiples of 5 end in a 0 or a 5. So because it ends in a 0, I know it's going to be a multiple of 5. Okay, so I'm going to divide the top by 5 and I'm going to divide the bottom by 5, and I'm going to get my lowest terms. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. Nice and simple. 100 divided by 5, you are going to have to do some division. You can do it down here if you want and do some long division. You can just know the answer, however you want to do it. I know that that is 20. Okay. If you're wondering why I know that because if I times 5 by 2, I get 10. Well, 100 is one more 0 than 10. So that means I need to add another 0 into what I'm timesing by, and I get 100. That's how I can figure that out. But that's just a side note. So lowest terms is 1/20th. That is the fraction you want out of this percentage. Let's take a look at another one. What if I'm asking you for 50% into a fraction? Well, remember, percentages are just whatever that number is over 100. So 50 over 100, I'm going to divide both by their greatest common factor. Hopefully, you know what the greatest common factors are. Looking at this one, what I can say is that both of them can be divided by, let's say, 2. Okay. If you don't know what the greatest common factor is, sometimes you just go with what you know. So I'm going to say, okay, greatest common factor for this one is 2. I might be wrong. I might be right. Let's find out. 50 divided by 2 is 25. 100 divided by 2 is 50. Hey, wait a minute. That ends in a 5. That ends in a 0. I can go more. So this one I'm going to divide by 5. Because I know with ending in a 5 and ending in a 0, both of them are divisible by 5. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 50 divided by 5 is 10. Hey, I can keep going. I can divide both of those by 5 again. If I divide both of those by 5 again, I get 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. This is now my lowest terms. I know that because both 1 and 2 are prime numbers, which means the only factors they have is 1 and 1 and 2 and 1. And that's it. Now, if I didn't want to go through all that rigmarole, I could have, from the very beginning, done larger numbers. Okay, so instead of going to the 2's, I could have gone through and go, okay, let's take a look. 50 and 100, both are even. I could divide by 2, but both also are divisible by 10 because they both end in 0. And hey, wait a minute, two 50's together make 100, which means I could divide both by 50. Okay, sometimes it pays to take the moment and think of what the biggest number you can divide by is. Okay, so 50 divided by 50 is 1, 100 divided by 50 is 2, and I have lowest terms. Okay, so you can go through and divide by the biggest number you can think of. If you thought 10 as your biggest number, you could have done that and then realized, oh, wait, I still need to keep dividing and keep dividing. Okay, as long as you can divide these two numbers by the same number, you need to keep going. You are not yet at lowest terms. Okay, these numbers are now lowest terms. Okay, last one we're going to do together, writing percentages of fractions, where you're going to have 4%. 4% is actually 4 over 100 because over 100 is percentage. So I'm dividing both. Both of them can be divided by 4. Okay, I know this because I know that 4 quarters or 4 25s make 100. So if I'm dividing 100 into 4 equal groups, it is going to be 25, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. So you get 1/25 is your lowest term. Okay, what you need to remember for this lesson is 1. Percentage is just the number, the percent over 100. That's how you get started in the fractions. You then must make them into lowest terms to have them be the correct answer. All fractions you work with, you need to make into lowest terms. You do that, and again, if you need a refresher on that, go back and watch the lowest terms video. To do that, you need to divide by the largest term you can. Sometimes it's the numerator. Sometimes you need to do multiple division steps to be able to find the lowest terms. That is lesson 33, writing percents as fractions, part 1.